Before you start pounding on that chisel, take some time to establish a nice crisp shoulder. This will keep your chisel from bouncing back across your line when you start banging on it with the hammer. This is especially important in hardwoods. When it does come time to start chopping away, start with the face side of the board, the one that's going to show in the final joint, and then chop only halfway through. This way you're not going to tear out into the side that everyone's going to see. Work your way slowly across the joint and take your time. 5-minute dovetails are great for show, but when you're making a nice piece of furniture, you don't want to risk messing it up just because you want to do it fast. Whether you do the pins or the tails first, get them perfect, and then you can use it to transfer the marks onto your other board. Using a hand plane and a vise is a great way to keep things level and stationary while you transfer those marks. Here's where your cuts really make a difference. Stay close to the line, but on the waist side. You can always trim it up with a chisel to get it perfect. You're also going to need a fret saw. No, a fret saw is not the same as a coping saw. A fret saw uses scroll saw blades, so they're much finer. You can get in between those pins and tails and cut out the waste. When you're doing it, stay away from your line. You're just trying to get most of the waste out. You're going to use a chisel to get the rest. Don't get too close to the line. And as a final step, I like to chamfer the back edges of my tails. This way it doesn't mush those corners when you tap the boards together. Remember, this is on the side you're not going to see. You want those joints to fit together with just a light tap of a mallet. If they're too tight, don't force it. You're going to split your material.
My dovetails don't come out perfect right off the saw. I make mistakes, but it's nice to know that most of those mistakes, even sometimes the really bad ones, can be repaired.
The most common mistake is having some gaps in your dovetails. Don't worry about it. This can be fixed. Take a chisel and make that gap uniform and wide. Yes, you're going to make the gap worse, but then you're going to have room to put some glue in and a little wedge that you make out of the same material. Remember, use end grain to go on the end grain, long grain to go on the long grain. Tap it in, chisel and plane it smooth when it's dry, and you won't even be able to see that flaw.